Okay, let's go ahead and put the rotor back on. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to collapse the brake calipers, and you're going to set them up on top there. And you can go buy this tool or rent this tool, and all it is an expander. And you take the old pads and you put them up there. Now, it's critical that you make sure that the opposing brake is on when you do this, because you are forcing that brake fluid to go back in that line. If you have the other brake off, it's going to cause a problem. You use the old brake pads on there, and you expand that thing out so that you make sure it's big enough to go over your new brake pads. I can't stress how important that is, that you make sure you leave the other brake on. Now, we're going to take a little bit of brake grease here. After we get done, we're going to clean up this bridge. And with brakes, there's just a lot of brake dust, and you should have a mask on when you're doing this, because this brake dust is not good. It's a carcinogen, and it will cause problems. So from a safety standpoint, make sure you have breathing protection and eye protection. Again, when you talk to any mechanic, and they'll tell you they've gotten brake dust in their eyes, it's really not fun at all. So make sure you protect yourself. But we clean off, and what these are, these little clips right here are designed to stop chatter, you know, pretty much to go ahead and just kind of keep things quiet. That's what they do. Okay, so now we're going to lubricate with a little brake grease. You can get this at the parts store. You just put it on lightly. You don't put tons of it on there. But don't be afraid to put it on there either. You know, the brake pads themselves slide. That's how they work. And so you need a lubricant on there in order to be able to do that. So go ahead and make sure that you coat it pretty good with the brake grease. These pins come out of the front. Go ahead and lubricate them too. If you wonder, take them to your parts store and ask them if they need to be replaced. But if they look okay, go ahead and put a light coat of grease on them, reposition them back into the bridge. Now, we take a bolt, a lug nut, just to hold the brake rotor in place. And now we're going to reinstall that caliper for you. Make sure when you put the bolts in all through this is something we got to make absolutely clear. Hand tighten. Do not start with a wrench, power tools. You'll cross thread that dude, and you are going to be a sorry son of a gun. So make sure you put it hand tight only to begin with. Then you can go ahead and get jiggy with it with a power wrench. Your torque specs should be available from your auto parts store as to torque specifications for this. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the pads back in. Nice new meaty pads. They just clip right in. If they come with shims, and you'll see them there, then use the shims. There's a reason for it with each manufacturer. So if they don't worry about it. But go ahead and just clip them in there with the clips on top. Now, this is real critical. As you're taking out your spreader tool, you got the old pads out of there. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to put this right back on top of the on top of with those two bolts. Okay, you want to put it on right, because what happens is if you kink this hose, you're going to have problems down the road. I know it doesn't seem possible, but people do it wrong all the time. Look at that, is exactly how it's supposed to look. That's your brake line. You don't want to have any kinks in it. Caliper goes right back on there. Again, hand start the bolts. I hate to sound like a broken record, but if you ever cross-thread bolts working on your car, you won't want to do it again. Now you can go ahead and tighten it up. And again, any torque values you can get from your auto parts supplier.